Man, that's weird.
Holy shit, they are trying to replace Vance with Erika Kirk. Because Erika Kirk and JD Vance is the Christian nationalist wet dream. And you won't convince me otherwise. What is this? What is this body language? When did we start putting our hands up in the hair of our friends when we hug? Yeah, no. You don't. This.
Rose as Erika Kirk put her arms around JD Vance on stage. It appeared far more intimate than everyone had anticipated, not because it was a cordial introduction. What began as a mere event appearance swiftly evolved into a surge of conjecture over the nature of their relationship as pictures of their embrace began to circulate online within. It didn't seem like a typical public exchange given the tone of Erika's introduction.
After reviewing the footage of Erika Kirk with JD Vance, it deadass feels like a MAGA fanfic. Like Erika Kirk, the way she speaks about that man is the way that my best friends in middle school would talk about Harry Styles. Like, there are sparkles in her eyes. I've never in my life been like, there's a spark. They're fucking. Fucking awesome. TikTok algorithm, please don't make this ineligible for recommendation like you do with all my videos. I have to peel every single time and then you approve it for no reason. Like, it's like ordinary girl just happens to get caught up with some Trump pageantry and shot right up to the top. And then tragedy leads to romance. I can't believe any of those words just came out of my mouth and formed sentences, and I sincerely apologize. Dude, the way they're hugging, it's giving my mom just sold me to One Direction. Dude, this is more public display of affection than when Laura Boebert or whatever was like publicly getting her boobs felt up in the movie theater or whatever the fuck, wherever she was. Like, that was bad. This is like, like you're sleeping.
The tenderness with which she discussed JD and their intimacy. Many viewers thought it was a moment we were not supposed to see. A subtle disclosure of an emotional connection taking place in front of the cameras. Let's go back to the moment that made everyone on edge before dissecting the chronology. The images, the body language, and the theories. It all started when Erika Kirk introduced JD Vance on stage at a significant public gathering. Even while introductions are often brief, courteous, and professional, this one felt very different. People said Erika talked about JD with an almost personal warmth and admiration. A colleague complimenting another colleague. It sounded more like someone summarizing someone they personally greatly admire. Erika's comparison of JD to her late husband, Charlie Kirk, who had just died away, was what really changed the mood in the room. She claimed that just the two men's resemblance.
No one will ever replace my husband. No. But I do see some similarities of my husband in JD and Vice President JD Vance. I do. And that's why I'm so blessed to be able to introduce him tonight. JD Vance.
Caused viewers to pause and review the video again. Given how recent her loss was, many people thought the parallel was overly sentimental. Most people wouldn't make such a casual remark. But the moment that truly ignited social media occurred immediately following the speech. The two gave each other an embrace that didn't appear to be a formal greeting when
Holy shit, they are trying to replace Vance with Erika Kirk. Because Erika Kirk and JD Vance is the Christian nationalist wet dream. And you won't convince me otherwise. What is this? What is this body language? When did we start putting our hands up in the hair of our friends when we hug? Yeah, no. You don't. This is weird. Oh, and then there's this one. JD, why are your hands so low? There's no reason for them to be on her hips, but there they are. But if that's not enough, here is her introducing him at Turning Point.
I am tremendously blessed and honored tonight to be able to introduce to you a very, very dear friend and his wife. They are incredible. And I see no one will ever replace my husband. No. But I do see some similarities of my husband in JD and Vice President JD Vance. I do.
And if you're not convinced yet that they're trying to replace her with Erika Kirk, this is him when asked by a student about him and his wife's difference in their religious beliefs, and he ends it with this.
Do I hope eventually that she is somehow moved by the same thing that I was moved in by church? Yeah, I honestly do wish that, because I believe in the Christian gospel, and I hope eventually my wife comes to see it the same way.
He wants her to fall in line. He wants her to be a Christian nationalist just like him. And if he can't convince her, he'll find a new one.
JD joined her on stage. Erika leaned in with a closeness that immediately drew the audience's attention, and JD's hand was around her waist. On the surface, it wasn't awkward, but there was something about it that didn't fit the typical body language of two public personalities. Engaging on stage, and all it took for the internet to begin asking questions was that small moment, the warmth in her voice, the analogy to her late spouse, and that embrace, gently tease. However, if that moment caused some people to take notice, the subsequent photographs totally altered the topic of discussion. The images that started going viral online following the occurrence were what really intensified the discussion. These weren't out of context, hazy photos. There were unambiguous pictures of Erika and JD in situations that many believed went.
What in the actual hell is really going on here? I mean, are we really not supposed to question this or this? While the technocrats put the finishing touches on the digital surveillance and enslavement grid, which is gearing up to chip, track, trace, manipulate, control, and tax every birth, breath, and movement, TPUSA and their geo-tracking partners continue to herd the sheep down the chute to the slaughterhouse. And lest you think differently, girly dames with coiffed hair and dangling crosses can lead just as many people to the gates of tyranny as any foul-mouthed, blue-haired liberal with a nose ring.
Went well beyond professional decency. One picture shows JD guiding Erika with a familiarity that quickly drew attention, holding her by the waist. In another, Erika leans into him and tilts her head in a way that appears soft, almost tender. This is not the type of body language typically associated with public stage interactions, but rather with emotional intimacy. The timing of these pictures is what made them more powerful. Charlie Kirk's death was only a few months prior to all of this. It was assumed that Erika would still be in a private mourning process, surrounded by close friends and family, rather than sharing what appeared to be a tender, heartfelt moment with another well-known man interviewer to a lot of viewers. And the speculation was stoked precisely because of that. Online debates likened the images to instances at celebrity award shows where two co-stars abruptly start dating after seeming a bit too at ease on the red carpet. That similar vibe was there, too subtle to ignore but obvious enough for the internet to pick up on. And the story changed as those pictures began to circulate. It had evolved from a heartfelt introduction. Although the photographs were simply the initial layer, people started to speculate that what we witnessed wasn't a one-time emotional experience but rather might be indications of a deeper connection, because things became even more controversial when people returned to examine the timeline. As soon
the spotlight.
So, does anyone else think JD Vance's first wife, Usha, might be looking for an exit plan right about now? I mean, it's bad enough that she's married to a guy who went on national TV and said it's totally fine for Americans to want to live next to people who are just like them and speak the same language. Then, she has to sit back and watch him all over Erika Kirk, who, let's be real, looks like she's trying to lock down another famous guy. But it doesn't stop there. JD Vance literally goes on stage and shames his wife for not being Christian, saying he hopes she'll convert and find the right path. As if that's not enough, he also ties immigration to assimilation, which, if you know anything about Usha's upbringing in a traditional Hindu immigrant family, makes this whole situation extra awkward. I don't know about you, but I can't imagine many women would be cool with their husband talking about them like that in public and then getting all touchy-feely with another recently widowed woman in front of everyone. That's just...
As soon as the pictures started going viral, people started connecting the dots what the internet is excellent at, and the whispers became full-fledged speculations when the time frame was laid forth. The death of Charlie Kirk was still very much in the news. Not even a year had passed. Only a few months had passed. The majority of widows are either
Internet has lost their doggone mind. And I understand, I can see why they're freaking out. For example, people are sitting here going, what's up? What's going on? What's going on with Vice President JD Vance embracing Erika Kirk? The way that they embrace is weird, yo. It's a little weird, okay? As, you know, if you are a person that is taken, all right, spoken for, you got a relationship, you are in a monogamous relationship with somebody, not like something that's open or nothing, all right, whether you are married or you are going steady with somebody. Yes, that's an old school word, but whether or not you are steady or married with somebody, hugging another person that is not your spouse or partner like this is very weird, okay? I said it in my short, okay? Like, you know, when you're hugging somebody and they ain't your girl, fellas, I'm just talking to the fellas for a second, okay? When you're talking and saying hello to somebody that you know, all right? And sure, you might be close to them to a certain extent, and they happen to be a member of the opposite sex, and they are not your wife or your partner, usually you're doing the hug with the butt out. You know what I mean? You're doing the lean and you're like, hi, or it's the side hug. You know what I mean? Hey, how you doing? What's up? What's good? You know, those are kosher moves. You don't see this, okay? Unless the fella's being hugged by his own mama, okay? Or a sister. And in fact, when you're getting hugged by your sister like this, you at a funeral, okay? Or you gave them a whole bunch of monies, and they're like, oh my God, I can finally pay rent and feed my kids. Thank you, big brother. Big old embrace, right? You just saved the day, right? You're not hugging your own sister this way. Maybe your mama, but your sister, you're hugging because you just lost somebody you love. It's funeral time. You feel me? So when you see something like this is
shunning the limelight at that point or attending with strong family support. People were therefore taken aback when they saw Erika return to the stage and share what appeared to be a very intimate moment with JD. She was smiling once more. But that wasn't all. It was how and with whom she was grinning. Some observers remarked that JD and Erika didn't appear to be two people who were only connected by loss. The ease of physical contact, the intimacy, and the degree of comfort. It wasn't formal. It seemed homey. Many people felt that the timing of the encounter made it feel more like a bond that had been developing subtly for some time than like an emotional lapse. Remarks such as this doesn't look like a new bond started to circulate. We appear to be forming a bond just now. Others likened it to famous comeback partnerships that fans discovered had begun before, to the split or loss. Furthermore, the time frame left room for conjecture, even though no one can verify it at this time, because viewers couldn't help but wonder what the dynamic was like behind the scenes if this is how they behave in public. Only months after a tragedy, and a new question surfaced online when viewers began going back and looking at old videos, old pictures, and subtle exchanges between JD and Erika. Was this a truly impromptu moment, or was it just the public's first awareness of what had been simmering for months? However, that wasn't the only hint that people referred to. JD's own remarks fueled suspicions as well. As conjecture increased, curiosity grew as individuals started going over some of JD Vance's most recent public remarks. Again, JD made some strange remarks regarding his own marriage just before the event with Erika. Some viewers felt that there might be a strain or disconnect at home because of the way he expressed the statement that he wished his wife would change her religion for him. Public personalities typically speak warmly, affectionately, or at the very least, with a sense of unity when discussing their spouses, especially after several years of dating. However, JD's remarks came off more as criticism, as if something were lacking, or as though he wanted his wife to conform to a standard that she didn't find acceptable. Even though it wasn't spoken maliciously, it didn't sound like the sort of thing that a deeply espoused with a connection would also broadcast openly. Thus, a notion started to circulate when people reenacted that kapok moment with Erika using these remarks as a guide. Did JD feel emotionally empty at home? And did Erika become the person he felt understood by? All of a sudden, those sentimental pictures were being examined for more than simply consolation. They were being considered as possible indications that an emotional connection was developing in a place where a romantic relationship might have faltered. Online, the story changed from being too soon to something far more interesting. Was this an isolated incident or the public demonstration of a closer bond that JD was not experiencing in his own marriage? Furthermore, if that perspective sparked doubts, the reports that converted the situation from one of curiosity to full-on tea when it surfaced next. Social media did what it always does. Once a moment goes viral. It dug. At this point, the issue changed from one dubious encounter to a trend that people said they had observed long before the general public did. Instagram and TikTok X users started sharing screenshots, videos, and side-by-side comparisons, implying that Erika and JD's relationship was nothing new. Older video from previous events that showed the two together on stage or in a group setting was brought back to life. Suddenly, spectators started making comments about fleeting glances, mutual smiles, and exchanges in the corridor that were a bit too casual for two married individuals who weren't married to another. Insiders reportedly observed Erika and JD chatting with a level of ease that beyond professional acquaintances. According to some online forums, you don't develop that level of comfort in a few weeks. One comment went viral. That's the past. Some noted that some fans had made lighthearted remarks like they'd make a cute couple. Beneath previous pictures, even prior to Charlie's death, in retrospect, those remarks felt extremely different. Even though none of this proves anything, it was plenty to support the notion that what we witnessed at the event wasn't a unique incident, but rather that it was perhaps the first time the public was unable to ignore the chemistry. The fact that neither JD nor Erika responded to the widely shared images only served to heighten the online rumors. No hasty explanation, no playful denial, not even a moment of people coming together. People tend to think there is a reason why public personalities don't stop rumors that spread this quickly. Thus, the silence itself became part of the story. The following step, however, is what really made this feel like a celebrity-style scandal, as people started pointing out a significant double standard, even if the rumors were maintained by whispers and resurrected footage. As the discussion progressed, individuals started bringing up the double standard, which elevated this subject above mere rumors. Because the response would have been substantially different if any other prominent figures, especially those who are known to be image-conscious, had been participating at this very moment. Internet critics likened it to the time when superstars prioritized their families, conventional beliefs, or a loyal spouse, find themselves in circumstances that don't align with the image they advocate. Consider a situation where a Hollywood couple publicly declares their commitment to one another, but one of them is spotted getting too close to a The internet doesn't tolerate it. That's why viewers found this scene involving Erika and JD more impactful. Many felt that Erika's public persona didn't align with the hug, warmth, and emotional tone of the introduction, especially considering how soon after Charlie's death it took place. It was more than just the embrace, it was the quiet that surrounded it. No declaration, no explanations, no tactful establishing of boundaries. Like, it was a grieving moment, nothing more. Some people felt that the public was supposed to disregard what they seen firsthand because of the subdued reaction, and everyone is aware of how that works. Pretending something doesn't exist is the quickest method to create an obsession on the internet. Viewers compared the lack of recognition to when famous people are captured in embarrassing paparazzi pictures and decide to remain silent in the hopes that the controversy will pass. Instead, the story typically gains momentum as a result of that stillness, which is precisely what took place in this instance. Because from double standards, the topic turned into a much greater question. What if this event was actually the gentle introduction of a new public narrative rather than an accident? As more individuals, the discussion gradually changed from perhaps it was just a pleasant moment to something far more fascinating when old videos, pictures, and exchanges were reviewed. A pretty basic inquiry was posed by viewers. How many coincidences must happen for it to no longer appear to be a coincidence? Because when you stand back and look at the wider picture, the situation appears less like a one-off occurrence and more like a pattern that's been silently accumulating in plain sight. Let's start with the timing. A year after Erika had recovered or removed herself from the spotlight, her closeness to JD did not come to light. Months after her husband's death, it emerged at a time when most individuals would still be reserved, solitary, and confined to their immediate circle. However, JDHE wasn't merely there. He was at ease. The degree of comfort that exists between them comes next. Most people don't naturally develop that type of ease. The gentle smiles, the natural touch, and the way their energies synchronized, especially when performing in front of cameras on a stage. It didn't seem like the first time anything went wrong to the audience. The people seemed to notice for the first time. Lastly, there is the response, or rather, the absence of one. Neither JD nor Erika provided a nuanced boundary-setting post, a brief explanation, or even a warning that folks are taking this too personally. The internet filled the void, left by that quiet with interpretations. Nothing here is confirmed. However, when the time comes, people can't help but wonder if this moment was really spontaneous, or just the first sight into a chapter that had silently began long ago. Because of how well the intimacy and the stillness line up, this brings us to the point where everyone disagrees. The takeaway, because this story can take many various forms depending on how you interpret the events. It's easy to see why this moment became a talking point when you consider everything: the emotional opening, the private images, the time so soon after Charlie's death, the comfort that didn't feel new, and the silence that followed. It had every component that often starts a whisper chain in the vein of a superstar: timing, warmth, delicate chemistry, and just enough intrigue to keep readers interested. This is where the narrative really becomes interesting, though all those who appeared to have a different interpretation of the occasion. A true moment of mutual mourning was witnessed by some. Some thought it was a subtle beginning of a new chapter that the public wasn't supposed to see, while others felt that emotional support was overdone. Not yet. Anyhow, there isn't always a single, obvious truth in circumstances like this. What people see can sometimes reveal just as much about the audience as it does about the participants. Did we see a bereaved widow turn to a dependable friend for solace? Was the public unprepared for the early light of an emotional bond captured by the cameras? Now that I've heard the timeline, witnessed the event, and taken into account how everything fits together, I'm interested to know what you think. Was it a connection that developed subtly behind the scenes, a tender embrace during a trying time, or the insidious beginning of something more? Regardless of your stance, one thing is for sure. So share your ideas honestly below. The way that people view Erika and JD together has changed as a result of this incident, and nobody is going to forget this story anytime soon.